The film Comeback Dad tells the story of a recovering alcoholic and his attempt to reconcile with his highly accomplished daughter.
It stars the legendary Charles S. Dutton, veteran actress Tatyana Ali, and newcomer Brad James. And they're all here to discuss their inspirational project and the new Up Network. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to have you all here.
I know. What a party.
I know, right?
Very excited. Well, before we start, what exactly is the Up Network? I'm not familiar with it.
You want to handle that?
The Up Network is so many things descriptively that we all have different viewpoints on it.
Okay.
But you know, I'll tell you honestly, it's the kind of network your whole family can watch.
Okay.
You know, and it basically is uplifting entertainment.
Oh, that's what the Up stands for.
Right,
Got it.
right. Yeah, it's
Okay.
uplifting entertainment. So it's the kind of thing that you can sit around with your family and actually have a good time watching TV again.
All right.
And it's philosophically designed to present positive images on television. Faith-based, but not necessarily hit you over the head, fire and brimstone faith-based. But a faith-based that, you know, if a kid runs through the living room, they're going to see something worthy
Okay.
on television.
They don't have to run through like this or like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is that what drew each of you to this project? The idea that this story is basically a redemptive tale about repairing the relationships between loved ones who've been estranged?
Oh yeah, and also everything is on the page. You know, you get a good script and you read it and you say, wow, you know, and you know it's going to be an easy task because the script is good, the story is good, and then when you throw in people like these two and others, you know, it's just a joy to come and work with actors like this.
Well, what were each of you most excited about in doing this project?
I loved the script. I was very excited about the script. The chance to work with Mr. Dutton, Mr. Charles Dutton, was amazing, and to work with him in that, in this particular story, because it's the story of a father and daughter, and forgiveness and repairing that relationship, and there's so much history involved. You get to see this snapshot in their lives, but there's so much history, and those were the things I was most excited. Also, I haven't experienced anything like what my character Nima is experiencing in this film, but I have very close girlfriends who are estranged from their fathers, and
We were just talking about that in the makeup room.
Yeah.
And the role that, you know, having a father or not having a father plays in the lives of many women.
how it shapes you emotionally, spiritually, personally, in all areas of your life. And I have friends that I've, 10-year friendships, 15-year friendships, and I've seen them deal with that in their lives. And so I very much, I don't know, I felt real protective of Nima and how her story would be told, because people I love, this is their story. Yeah.
Now, Mr. Dutton, you play her father in the movie, and you're an alcoholic who's estranged from her. So how did you go about preparing for such a deep role?
Well, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, if it's on the page, you get a chance to say, oh man, I can get into this, you know what I mean? And so you envision, you just try to be truthful, you know? I mean, all acting is looking the other person straight in the eye and telling the truth. That's really all it is.
It sounds so simple when you make it sound like that. It's like, oh, is that it really?
You know, I mean, really, in essence, you have to tell the truth. And so when you get good material like this, you don't necessarily have to think about acting lessons or acting things, you know. You just simply tell the truth in a scene. And so, I mean, I've known alcoholics. You know, I have friends who have drinking problems, family members who have drinking problems. You know, there's one of them right here. But
in the room.
I wouldn't. Well, you know, sorry, Brad. Darn it, I told. You know?
No one else would have known. You didn't
We won't tell anyone, don't worry.
My name is Brad, and I'm
But you know, it's just you don't really prepare. You wait to, you know, work with a cast like this, and you respond to what they give you, you know, and to watch Tatyana, you know, like we have this big scene where she finally confronts me, you know, and watching her prepare outside the house that day, you know, I just was engrossed in watching her preparation. And so when she came in, I knew I was going to get torn apart because I watched her, build it up. But it was great watching her acting process. And in the same way with Brad, we have a nice scene where he's been driven to drinking. And I'm in a bar, and I got to go in a bar and kind of rescue him. Now, I shouldn't be in a bar. My character shouldn't be in a bar. That's the last place my character should be. But then watching him prepare for that and go through that, it's just terrific to watch younger people that have a process in acting and are true to the form and to the craft.
Well, Brad, talk to us about your truth. When you hear a name like Dutton and you hear Tatyana Ali, are you nervous? Are you excited? A bit of both?
I try to go into everything working with great people without preconceived notions. But you already have an idea just based on what you've seen from them before. So you come in with a certain...
He's America's uncle.
You come in with,
she's America's little sister.
you come in just realizing the work that they've put in, and so it's just they're already respected. But it was so much more than I thought it would be. I've learned a lot. I've enjoyed the process. I enjoy seeing them every time I get to run into them anywhere. And the same thing with Loretta Devine and any of the other cast members involved. It really felt good. And I'm looking forward to that coming across. I enjoyed watching them. So sometimes when you're in the scene, you're truly in it. They talk about the moment. We were in this whole film. There was only one downside that I saw to this entire production,
What
and
was
that's that it was over so quickly. It was like nothing. So if it could just go on and on, it would feel good. It was really a feel good film.
Now, was it true you were a Marine before you became an actor?
Yeah.
So what's harder, being in the military or being in Hollywood?
Sometimes we put in. I did a film last year called Prisoners with Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman. And we put in long days on the film sets, and sometimes we had these scenes at the beginning of the film where it was pouring down rain and it was freezing cold and we're soaked to the bone, and they would come and say, I'm really sorry, I know it's hard in these long days, and I'm like, this is nothing.
This is nothing.
I am well prepared for this, so by far this is easier because I love it. I enjoy doing it.
Now, Tatyana, you have to take us back a little bit because we grew up watching you on television. You're everyone's little sisters and everyone's crush.
So a lot of crushes.
Yeah, a lot of
crushes. A lot of people who've been on the show.
Right.
Yeah.
We won't put the business out there. We'll tell you afterwards who some of those people were. But what was it like growing up in front of America on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
It was, I guess, a strange way to grow up, but I don't know any other way. It's a way to grow up that's actually filled with a lot of love. People, people know my name, Tatyana, but they'll sometimes say Ashley, I'll get hugs. There's just so much. It meant so much to people that I don't have. And it meant so much to people that, I can't have any kind of weird child actor feelings about it, like that character, none of that. And then working with the cast and what we all did together, we actually became a family. So it was a really beautiful way to grow up.
So many of your peers didn't end up at an Ivy League institution like you did. How did you manage to stay on the straight and narrow when so many veered off?
You're a child, like any other child. So it's really about your parents and your teacher. We have tutors on sets and that support network and people around you telling you no. Every teenager actually needs to hear.
That's true. And you ended up at Harvard?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Go ahead and drop that H-bomb on him. Drop that H-bomb on him, girl.
It's a little easier to end up at an Ivy League institution when you're brilliant. And she's not going to say that, but it's just it's the truth. And it's something that sometimes you have to
We have Yale in the house, too. He's like, yeah, represent.
I know.
Right. Don't be modest. It's okay.
Go Crimson.
Well, besides this project, what else is next for you all? What else are you working on? What can we expect to see you in next?
I directed a film, independent film in Philadelphia called Must Be the Music. And it's a tale about the music industry, about an old school music producer, Philadelphia music mogul who's been around since the 70s and during the OJs and the Delphonics, but he has a label now with the young hip hop generation on it.
Oh.
But he's very successful, but he's refuses to move into the 21st century. So he's a
lot of people
dinosaur.
like that. I know a lot of
So he's a dinosaur, and his practices are 70s practices, business-wise as well as music, and it creates a huge conflict with the younger generation. That's kind of a rough thing of the story.
Tatyana?
I besides Comeback Dad, I did a film called November Rule that I think is going to be out in the fall. I'm not exactly sure when it's coming out. And I put out an EP independently called Hello in January.
Wow, really?
And so I'm working on music and just I feel so blessed. I finally have come to a place in my life and in my career where I feel like I'm doing the kind of things that I have been dreaming about doing, like projects that really matter and mean something to me, and I hope it just keeps going.
That's so great
So
to
when you-
hear. And Brad,
When
what
it comes
about
out,
you?
you gotta come back.
Yeah.
Well, the next thing that we have on the books I just found out this week is that we're doing our 4th season of For Better or Worse, a sitcom I do on Oprah's network,
Yeah,
with
of
Tyler Perry.
course.
So that's the next thing that we have already written down in line. Comeback Dad 2, I think, is. He's got a problem. Next time it's going to be heroin. I think,
Every time a different problem. Well, tell us, when can we catch the first Comeback Dad? It's on the Up Network. When can we see it?
July 12th,
8
p.m.
8 p.m.
on Up.
All right,
All
we'll be
right.
there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
We
you
really
so
appreciate it.
much. Thank you all. And you're watching Rise Entertainment 360.